Are you ready to go into the wild with the EAG? EAG. See them mangrove there, protect them. When you walk with your things, don't left them. Look out for the birds and the snakes, don't scare them. We're going on a wildlife journey to save them. Who you rolling with? EAG. No one does it like EAG. Who cares for the coral reefs and the beach and the seas and even the trees? Who you rolling with? EAG. No one does it like EAG. Who cares the most for the turtles and fishes and trees and also the coast?
Into the wild, into the wild, no, into the wild, into the wild, no, into the wild, into the wild, no, into the wild with the EAG. Into the wild, into the wild, no, into the wild, into the wild, no, into the wild, into the wild, no, into the wild with the EAG.
Funding for this initiative was provided by the Elkhorn Marine Conservancy, dedicated to enhancing the resilience and local stewardship of Antigua's marine ecosystems through restoration, collaborative management, and conservation. Welcome back to Into the Wild with the EAG. In the last episode, you learned a lot about what corals are, how they eat and reproduce, and their complicated life cycle. Today, we're going to have you jumping back into the water to learn a little bit more about the crucial role corals play for humans and wildlife. Coral reefs are some of the most diverse and productive ecosystems on Earth. People even refer to them as the rainforests of the sea. So, let's go see!
Into the wild, no, into the wild, into the wild, no, into the wild, into the wild, no.
Coral reefs provide a critical habitat or home for a wide variety of marine animals due to the abundance of surrounding food. They are also nursery grounds for over 1 million marine species, providing a place for young fish to hide from predators.
Approximately 25% of all marine life depends on coral reefs at some stage in their life, and this includes over 4,000 species of fish. Some of these species are known as keystone species. These critical players occupy key roles in their ecosystems.
Keystone species that can be found here in Antigua and Barbuda include the Elkhorn coral, hawksbill sea turtle, long-spined or black sea urchin, queen and stoplight parrotfish, and Caribbean reef shark.
If these keystone species were to disappear, their ecosystems might not be able to adapt to environmental change. This could spell the end of the ecosystem. Fortunately, local organizations are trying their best to ensure the continued survival of our keystone species. Please turn to your activity booklet and complete the Keystone Kingdom.
Remember that an ecosystem is a combination of living and non-living things that unite to form a unique bubble of life. This means that the physical environment plays a major role in shaping an ecosystem and determining the organisms that live there.
Tropical coral reefs like the ones we see around Antigua and Barbuda can only tolerate a very narrow temperature range of 23 to 29 degrees Celsius. They also need to be sediment-free to allow for sunlight to kiss the corals and for zooxanthellae to photosynthesize. Some species, like sea sponges, can affect water quality by acting as natural filters, collecting bacteria and processing nutrients like carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus. These actions help keep the surrounding water clean and healthy, not only for the corals, but for other organisms as well. Other types of algae also contribute to water clarity by trapping sediment. All of this sounds too harmonic and well-functioning. I need some drama. What about all the animals in the reef? Are they in harmony too?
Actually, coral reefs are a major hotspot for marine life, and as such, there is an intense competition among the many species who live there. There's competition for space, sunlight, and food around the reef. When animals eat other organisms, this leads to a transfer of energy from the food to the consumer.
Wait. Transfers of what? I might need a classroom session to understand this process. Alex, could you review this?
Of course. We can visually represent this transfer of energy in a food chain. A food chain is made up of different trophic levels, which describe each organism's position in the chain. There are three kinds of organisms in a food chain: decomposers, producers, and consumers. Decomposers are typically small organisms that break down dead organic material. Examples of decomposers are bacteria, fungi, and earthworms.
Ew! Tell me about the next one, please.
Next up, producers. Producers, also known as autotrophs, make their own food through a process of photosynthesis. Examples of producers are marine plants, such as algae and seagrass.
So decomposers eat dead things, producers are plants, and consumers are carnivores?
Some of them are. In general, consumers cannot make their own food. There are three types of consumers: primary, secondary, and tertiary consumers. Primary consumers are herbivores and feed only on producers, or plants. Herbivores are especially important to coral reef ecosystems as they control the growth of algae on the reef.
Is algae not good to have on the reef?
While algae in small amounts can be good, if algae growth is left unchecked, corals can be smothered by the overgrowth.
I think I know some herbivores that can be found around Antigua and Barbuda's coral reef. Black or long-spined sea urchin, the queen conch, blue tang, and parrotfish, or locally called chub.
Yes, parrotfish or chub are especially important because they eat algae off of coral reefs. But they also play an important role in maintaining our white sandy beaches. While snacking on the reef's algae, these fish also eat some of the coral's exoskeleton. This becomes a sandy material in their stomachs that they then poop out. This contributes to sand in the ocean and provides us with the white sandy beaches we know and love in Antigua and Barbuda.
So when I'm laying on the beach, I'm actually touching parrotfish poop?
Okay, so moving on to secondary consumers. Secondary consumers eat primary consumers, making them mostly carnivores or omnivores. And finally, tertiary consumers eat secondary consumers. They can feed on all levels of the food chain beneath them, but are often carnivores.
You know what? Let's go find some examples of these consumers on the reef. Some examples of omnivores that are found in our reefs would be the Caribbean spiny lobster, the Caribbean king crab, and rock beauty angelfish. Some example of carnivores would be moray eel, the southern stingray, the great barracuda, yellowtail snapper, and the critically endangered Nassau grouper.
A food web is a combination of many connected and overlapping food chains, showing the many ways that energy can be transferred in an ecosystem as organisms eat each other.
Food webs and food chains show how important every organism in an ecosystem is, since the absence of one of the species in the pathway can have severe implications for all others.
Coral reefs are not only valuable for marine animals, but humans as well. They execute a wide variety of ecosystem services or benefits to humans that significantly improve our quality of life.
Coral reefs protect our coastlines from wave erosion by breaking powerful waves heading towards the land. This is especially important for vulnerable small island developing states, or SIDS, like Antigua and Barbuda, who frequently experience hurricanes and tropical storms. Without coral reefs to protect us, coastal properties like homes, restaurants, and hotels would be at a much greater risk during natural disasters.
By supporting a wide variety of marine life, healthy coral reefs can also provide a reliable food source for local people, provided fishing is done sustainably. Healthy reefs not only support the livelihoods of fisherfolk, but they also make an invaluable contribution to the tourism of Caribbean islands. For example, tour operators, hotels, and dive shops are able to make a living from visitors who are keen to experience crystal clear waters and marvel at the unique species that can be found around coral reefs. The surrounding life and aesthetic beauty of healthy, thriving coral reefs encourages activities such as diving, fishing, and snorkeling by both local people and tourists.
Now that you know how a coral reef ecosystem supports its marine life and how these can contribute to the welfare of coastal communities, we hope that you understand just how important these ecosystems are.
It's been another great day of learning, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
see you next time on Into the Wild with the EAG.
Hey, are you ready to go into the wild with the EAG? EAG. See them mangrove there, protect them. When you walk with your things, don't